This footage was shot less than a month ago. This is how that area looks right now. I cannot believe how quickly the weeds have taken over. I feel like it's one step forward and two steps back with this garden. Too hot to do anything about it now though. It's going to take a lot of work, and I'm going to wait until the Ben's gone to sleep and come back once it's cooled down a little bit. Hello there, my name is Lee. I live here in the northeast of England with my wife, our son and our 2 dogs. We bought this house about 3 years ago mainly for the outside space because it was so beautiful and had so much potential. To be honest, over the last couple of years we've kind of neglected it, but following the birth of our son last year we decided it was time to renovate the garden and turn it into a nice place for the Ben to grow up in, not just for this summer, but for many summers to come. We're sticking to a rough plan of taking things back to a blank slate, installing a new patio, new veg plot, new summer house, etc., and documenting the process along the way. It's not quick, it's not polished. I'm no professional YouTuber with a camera, a fancy camera or anything like that, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to follow along. Right. I know I said I was going to wait for it to cool down a bit before I came out to do a bit of gardening. Didn't anticipate I'd be coming out at 9 o'clock. Well, that's just how it goes. That's not a bad start. Get a bit more done tomorrow. For tonight, I think I'm just going to water the plants, call it a day. Alright, good evening. Back out here again. It's not quite as late as it was yesterday or the day before or whenever the last footage that you saw earlier on in the video was from. It's about 7:30 now. Ben's gone to bed, had the dogs out for a little bit, and we're experiencing a bit of a heat wave at the minute in this part of the world, and where I live in the northeast of England, the temperatures through the day have been getting up to like the sort of low 30s, low 30 degrees Celsius, and which I know for a lot of people from elsewhere in the world that'll sound like really flimsy, like that's not even that hot, but somehow for us it's like it feels crazy hot, and it's just too hot to work in the garden anyway. So I've waited until the sun's gone well behind this building to crack on with this, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm still absolutely roasting even though it's like 7:30 at night. I've cleared a lot of the weeds around this area, as you can kind of see, and my plan is to kind of tidy this area up a little bit over the next sort of 10-15 minutes, and then ideally tomorrow, which is Sunday, or maybe on the evenings through next week, I'm going to get out here and start digging all these bricks out and flagstones out and seeing exactly what the crack is with this before I bother tackling all these weeds and stuff. And you can see there's still like loads of weeds to tackle here, which it won't take that long to do. It's just I think now that I've cleared a path to here, I better crack on with this, because if I try and do the rest of the weeding, these will start to grow again by the time I get back to it. So that's the plan. I'm going to spend 10 minutes or so doing that, and then hopefully get back out here tomorrow. Morning, beautiful day. I'm going to try and get some of this patio taken out. Not sure how much I get done today because obviously we've got a bunch of other things to do, and didn't get much sleep last night. The Ben was up at 3 AM this morning, so I've had him for a bit this morning. My wife's got him now. I'm going to try and get a couple hours work done while it's not too hot, and we'll see how we go. I'm dumping all these ones here that need the mortar chipped off them to do at a later date, and hopefully they can still come in too. So sorry to interrupt. I'm back in the garden again, but it's about 8 hours later. When I was watching some of the clips back that I'd recorded this morning, I realised that the audio on the last 2 or 3 had completely malfunctioned and hadn't worked at all. It wasn't just that the microphone hadn't worked, it was that there was no audio at all. So I'm going to explain what I did in those clips and what I was kind of getting at and why I sacked off the day's work early. So if you follow me back to where we're working, the main question I had before I started digging this patio out was whether these bricks that are in here were stacked too high all the way back or not. They're obviously stacked too high at the front, you can probably see just here, but I wasn't sure whether they were stacked too high all the way back. As you can see, they are not. I have removed quite a few bricks, I'm not really sure how many, and a bunch of the flagstones. I reckon I've probably taken out about 1/3 of the entire patio, maybe a tiny bit more. But this morning it was just too hot to work. It was probably, I think, about 20 degrees, which 20 degrees Celsius, which I think is something like 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not particularly hot. But I don't know what it was about the type of heat it was. I was absolutely sweating after about 10 minutes of work. So I did a bit, and I got the bricks all stacked away, and then I went inside to help with the Ben and have a shower and have some dinner and all that. And ended up staying indoors for most of the day while my wife did some work in the front garden. But I've come back out now because I've still got the dogs to walk, and I wanted to update you guys on the work that I managed to get done. I think that's a pretty good start. It is Sunday night now. Like I say, I'm going to take these dogs out and then get to bed pretty early because I had a horrendous night's sleep last night, and I've got work Monday to Friday this week. I am hoping to get out in the garden again on the evening, sort of through the week. The weather's not supposed to be as nice this week, but it is, I think, supposed to be mainly dry. So hopefully I get a chance to come back out and crack on with this patio. Yo, back in the garden. It's been a little while. A few things going on. My neighbour has very kindly donated me some sand, which he had surplus, which is going to be used for under the patio when we come to do that, so that's great. Even because I've been at work all day, he grabbed us on the way out and said, "Where do you want the sand? I'll just move it over." So I was like, all right, great. So that's obviously very generous and very much appreciated. Really struggling to find the time to get out here at the moment, just with everything that's going on elsewhere. So the plan tonight is not going to be out here for too long, but I'm going to try and dig up a little bit more of the patio. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow, my wife's dad is coming to stay for the weekend. He's not going to be staying with us, but he's obviously going to be spending a lot of time here, coming to see his grandson, etc. So I'm not going to be like working out here. The plan is tonight, try and get a little bit more of this done, and then tomorrow after work, try and cut the grass because it is extraordinarily overgrown, so that over the weekend we can spend a bit of time out here, especially if it's decent weather, which it is supposed to be. We've got a little paddling pool for the bed and all that kind of thing, and it'll be just a nice family time. So that's the plan. But to put the camera down, get on with this, and then hopefully get a chance to cut the grass tomorrow. Need to water the plants. I got work tomorrow. There's just a lot going on. I'm going to put the camera down and get on with it. Okay. Hello, back in the garden. We haven't spent much time out here over the weekend because the weather's been pretty poor, which is a real shame considering I went to extreme lengths to get the grass cut. But we've done some nice things. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, I'm not really a real YouTuber, so I forgot to film most of the stuff we've done. We went for fish and chips, had a little walk down the quayside, or the seafront, sorry. And then today we've been up to a place called Barterbrooks in a town not too far from here, which is a massive book shop which got a nice cafe and stuff. So we've been there for the day. Basically just had some nice wholesome family time while the Ben's granddad's been staying. It's almost the end of the weekend. I haven't got the patio finished. I'm hoping to get that finished through the week, but we're going to celebrate the end of the weekend by harvesting the first of our new potatoes. So I thought that would make some nice footage. So we've got three different types. We've got some first earlies, some second earlies, and some main crop. So, and there's 3 bags of each. So I think what we're going to do is harvest 1 bag at a time. So we'll do this bag first today, see how many we'll get, and then maybe harvest a second bag next weekend or the weekend after, and so on and so forth. I think that's probably the best way to do it. a great start in terms of a potato haul. I think the problem we had is we probably planted them a little bit late, maybe a week or two, and then we've harvested them a little bit early, again maybe a week or two, and don't think I've been as on it with the watering of potatoes as I probably should have been. So trying to rectify that. We're out here again. It's been a few days since I've been out here, since that last footage from the weekend. Today's Wednesday. I'm going to try tonight, like I say, keep on top of the watering while we've got a little bit more hot weather, sort of mid-20s again now. Keep on top of the watering. I haven't had a chance to walk the dogs today because it's been a little bit too hot through the day, so got them out having a mooch around. I don't know if you can see there. Anyway, like I say, with it being a little bit cooler, with it being evening time, what I thought I would do tonight and probably tomorrow night as well is try and dig up the last few bricks in the patio area, which you saw us make a start on earlier in the video, and all the way up to where the water butt is. I'm not going to remove the water butt just yet. It is going to be taken out and then reinstated somewhere, maybe there again, on the new patio, but I'm going to wait until the last minute to take it out because we're not getting a lot of rain at the minute, but we are going to get some every once in a while, so I might as well make use of that. So it's going to stay there rather than having to put it somewhere else. So I'm going to try and do at least 20 minutes tonight, maybe the same again tomorrow. Probably finish the video there no matter how far on I get, and then I've got one more day at work on Friday, and then next week I've got the whole week off, so I'm going to try and get quite a bit done then. Once again, I'm going to stop talking, let the camera roll, and try and get a little bit done tonight. That's a wrap for tonight. Hopefully get a chance to come back out and do a bit more tomorrow. Good evening. I'm going to wrap up this video by wrapping up the removal of the rest of this patio tonight, hopefully. I have been specifically instructed to try and save this fern. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. What I might do is try and dig out the bricks, pavement slabs around them, and then leave that for my wife to tackle, because she's the one who wants to keep it, so she'll know how best she wants to do that. As I said earlier, I'm going to leave the water butt where it is, but for the final time, I'm going to put the camera down, shut up for a little bit, and try and get the rest of these out, and then spend the next week, while I've got the week off work, hopefully clearing out the weeds and starting to finally dig down to put in the new patio. After almost 6 months of clearing, we're finally going to start putting in place things that we want, like the new patio, like the new veg plot, etc. It's going to be a long process, so if you have been following along, thank you so much, really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll start to see things come together a little bit quicker, but who knows.